So, guys, this is my review for Tōkyō Ribenjāzu episode 5, and with that, guys, let's jump right into this review of episode 5. Let's get it. So, here in episode 5, we find out that basically that a couple things happen. One, Takemichi is out of a job. Because they explained it in episode 4, where if he spends a specific amount of time, basically like a week in the past, a week in the present still goes by, like time still moves forward, which is a very interesting concept in itself, and I like it. But at the same time, there are pros and cons to the fact of how time flows and travels here in the anime. So with that, because he was gone for 2 weeks, going back and dealing with what he needed to deal with to try to figure some stuff out, and then of course with now the death of a coon in the present, that basically because time moved in such a way that we find out that time did indeed move forward, and he loses his job, and now they need to be very careful about what they do during the time that they have when Takemichi is going back in time. But now we also find out that there's a specific reason why Draken died. Ken, he gets killed on August 3rd of 2005, literally 2 weeks later, from July the 4th, which is kind of, actually it's kind of a weird thing. Like, well, never mind. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's July 19th right now in this moment. So on this day, so definitely 2 weeks definitely did go by. So 2 weeks is 2 weeks from the day. So Draken dies on August 3rd, and of course we find out we sort of find out why he dies. I want to say that that's what we find out, but of course there are some other things that are going on here in episode 5 that are still crucial to the plot, and I did indeed enjoy those plot sections for episode 5 moving forward. Now, obviously, here in episode 5, the main focal point is Takemichi going back and figuring out, how to save Ken, and that's in the back of his brain. He meets up with Hinata after the fact that he ends up being with Emma once again at the beginning of the episode. But I wasn't thinking, I believe none of us would have put two and two together that Emma was a part of this gang here, but she is indeed a part of this group, and of course that puts some distance between him and Hinata moving forward, which I still feel like can still have a negative effect, because that's the thing, like, because because Naoto, he went to Naoto earlier in the episode and just said, hey, why can't we, like I did with you, I told you about what was going to happen 12 years later, from 12 years ago, I told you about, your sister dying, about you dying and stuff, and it had a positive effect. Why can't I tell Hinata as well? But of course Naoto was like, you want to take the easy road, blah blah blah. Like, what if she doesn't like you, doesn't believe you, and thinks you're crazy and doesn't want to have anything to deal with you? So in the same instance, like, because Hinata finds out that Takemichi was messing with Emma, even prior to him even traveling back in time, that now this could still have a negative effect, because she finds out that him and Emma were together just maybe within the hour or a couple hours prior, and this could still have a negative effect on the relationship moving forward. But again, the main focus, of course, is still trying to save Ken moving forward when it's pertaining to August 3rd. And so, because the episode is centered around Ken, and we also find out that their group is fairly new, like the Tallman group is fairly new, but there are other gangs, there are generational gangs and stuff like that, that because members of the Tallman gang had issues with other members of a different gang, that some, the more major stuff happens when it's pertaining to one of the members, to I believe his name was Pa, and his girlfriend, and basically them getting into it with that gang member, and excuse me, and those the other generational gang members beating up Pa, beating up his and raping his girlfriend, like just totally just wrong, right? But it's still leading back to Ken and Sano, because I even said it in my reaction, like it's still connected to them. Like if their daughter didn't know the member of the gang, then this wouldn't have happened to her. Like more than likely, 99% sure, none of this stuff would have happened to her, and so the blame does indeed go to them. And originally, I was like, that it's not their fault, but technically it is, because their member is a part of their gang, and their daughter knows and is in a relationship with the guy, and so it still involves them. But again, I do like the fact that because Takemichi is like stalking Ken and trying to be his bodyguard, which again he did get turned down earlier, a couple of scenes ago here in episode 5. That I do like the fact that he was able to at least follow them and find out some information. Now, I thought that because they were there, it's, if I remember correctly, him and Naoto had the conversation and at the computer, and they were reading the information on how Ken died on August 3rd. That if I remember, him and Sano had a disagreement. So I was thinking that in this moment here, that disagreement did indeed happen. Maybe it did, but because the way the timeline is being affected in such a way that maybe because things are changing and shifting, that this disagreement that Ken and Sano had, that it may have happened here and it just doesn't happen at all. So because like Ken still has a heart towards people, and he's like, look, we don't want members of our group, people that they love and care about, family members, friends, partners, whatever, we don't want them to be affected in a negative way. And it's kind of hard to like it's great that he says that, but at the same time it's still kind of hard to like avoid that from happening because of the fact that they are a part of a gang. So it's just like you can't expect all your members to feel and think and act and stuff like that like you do. They're all still free thinking individuals anyway. It's just that they still follow your lead. So they're still following Ken and Sano's lead. It's just that they're still free thinking individuals. They will do whatever they feel is necessary when it's pertaining to them and certain situations. And if they feel threatened, they will respond in a way that they feel is to protect themselves, protect the people that they may have with them, like a family member or a partner or whatever, and in which will eventually, maybe more than likely, cause an incident where somebody gets hurt at the end of the situation. So that in itself is still a tough thing to try to stop from happening. But with that, it's just one of those things, guys, where I'm curious still to try to think and figure out, like, will Ken and Sano still have a disagreement moving forward past this moment? I do still feel like they should have still paid the respects towards the daughter, even though the parents were upset at them. It's still, still feel it's still respectful to still show your face and still apologize to them, even though the family members feel that like the father said, you bowing your head isn't gonna help my daughter come out of this coma and help and change the fact that this is what happened to her. Like, even I'm pissed off that this happened to her, because I personally don't like it when women and children are raped and beat up and stuff like that. Like, it's just bullcrap to me. Like, people, like, there are guys out there that feel like they are so superior towards a woman or a child or whatever the case, and they decide to do something like that. I hate it on a personal level. So all in all, a really great episode 5, guys. Really did enjoy this episode. I'm gonna now head over to episode 6, watch episode 6, react to it, and then just be on the lookout for my review of episode 6 to come a few hours after the reaction video goes up for that episode. But with that, guys, leave some comments in the comment section below. What did you all think of episode 5 when you first sat down to watch it for the first time? Let's talk about some things. But other than that, I will talk to you all next time with more Tōkyō Revengers. Peace, guys.